I was asked to be on the board of Rockefeller, and I think it was, right, I was on the board of Rockefeller. There was a money manager who said Rockefeller needs someone with financial expertise because the university is growing.
Few names in history carry as much weight as Rockefeller, not just because of money, but because of how that money reshaped the modern world. For over a century, the Rockefeller name has been tied to institutions that still shape daily life today. And because of that influence, the family has also become a magnet for controversy, suspicion, and conspiracy. So who were the Rockefellers, really? How did they build the largest fortune the world had ever seen? What did they actually do that sparked outrage? And why does their name still appear in modern scandals, even when no evidence connects them? John D. Rockefeller founded Standard Oil in 1870. At a time when the oil industry was chaotic and unregulated, Rockefeller brought order, efficiency, and ruthless strategy. He didn't just drill for oil, he controlled transportation, refining, distribution, and pricing. Standard Oil grew so powerful that, at its peak, it controlled about 90% of the oil refining in the United States. He undercut competitors, bought them out, or forced them into his system. This wasn't illegal at first, but it was so effective that the government eventually stepped in. In 1911, the Supreme Court ordered Standard Oil to be broken up under antitrust laws. That breakup created companies you still know today: Exxon, Chevron, and Mobil. And ironically, the breakup made Rockefeller even richer. Rockefeller was called a monopolist, a robber baron, a symbol of corporate greed. Newspapers attacked him relentlessly. Workers protested his business practices. Critics said he strangled competition and manipulated markets. But supporters argued he brought stability to a dangerous industry, lowered prices for consumers, and created modern business efficiency. Both were true. He was ruthless and he was transformative. After accumulating unprecedented wealth, the Rockefellers did something unusual. They turned toward philanthropy on a scale the world had never seen. They funded the University of Chicago, Johns Hopkins School of Public Health, the Rockefeller Foundation, major medical research that helped eliminate diseases like hookworm and yellow fever. They helped shape modern medicine, public health systems, and education. And this is where the story changes, because the more they funded institutions, the more people began to ask, how much influence comes with that money? Rockefeller family members later became deeply involved in banking and government. David Rockefeller became chairman of Chase Manhattan Bank. He helped shape global financial relationships during the Cold War. He met with world leaders, diplomats, and central bankers. This led to criticism that the Rockefellers weren't just wealthy. They were influential behind the scenes of global policy. They helped found organizations like the Council on Foreign Relations and supported early global cooperation initiatives. To some, this looked like responsible leadership. To others, it looked like elite control. Because the Rockefellers touched so many institutions, oil, banks, universities, global policy, medicine, their name often appears in conspiracy theories about hidden power. They're cited in claims about global governance, secret influence, financial control. But here's the key point. There is no evidence that the Rockefeller family is involved in criminal conspiracies, secret societies running the world, or modern scandals like the Epstein case. Their name appears in these narratives because of their historical influence, not because of documented wrongdoing. The Rockefeller name is sometimes mentioned online in relation to Epstein, but there is no verified documentation, court record, or investigative finding connecting the Rockefeller family to Epstein's crimes. This is important to say clearly. What is real is that Epstein himself attempted to move in elite circles, universities, scientists, billionaires, politicians, and because the Rockefellers historically funded many of those same institutions, their name gets pulled into the story through association, not evidence. That distinction matters. The Rockefellers built the first modern megafortune. They shaped antitrust law, corporate regulations, philanthropy, public health, education, global finance. They showed how wealth can translate into institutional influence that lasts for generations. And that is why their story still feels relevant today. Not because of secret plots, but because they proved how power evolves from money into systems. The Rockefellers were not ordinary wealthy people. They were among the first to prove that money could evolve into something far more lasting than fortune. It could become institutions, policies, universities, banks, medical systems, ideas that outlive generations. And when a family's influence stretches across so many parts of modern life, it naturally raises questions. Not because of proven scandals, but because of how much of their story is woven into the foundations of the world we live in today. We know how they made their money, We know what they funded. We know the controversies of Standard Oil. But influence at that scale is rarely simple, and history often shows us that what is visible is only part of the picture. So the real question isn't whether the Rockefellers were villains or visionaries. It's this: how much influence can any family have before it becomes difficult to fully see where that influence begins and where it ends? And how much of that history do we truly understand? What do you think about the Rockefellers?